boutique technology consulting firm, and we are Microsoft Gold partners in cloud platform, data analytics, and application development as well. Our Wednesday webinar series, it takes place every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. And we try to focus on a lot of topics, current ones, to be presented every alternate Wednesdays. And today's topic is about Azure Security Center. And today's speaker is Aniket. Now Aniket will take over.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mikula. So I'm Aniket from Cloud9 Info Systems, and today we're going to be talking about Azure Security Center. What is Azure Security Center? It's a service from Microsoft that provides us a unified security management and advanced threat protection service across our cloud workloads. With Security Center, what that means is basically we can apply security policies across our workloads, limit our exposure to threats, and detect and respond to attacks much more efficiently. Now, why use Security Center? Of course, like any other Microsoft service, Azure Security Center also has a lot of features, and we will be talking about each one of them today, which will, by the end of this presentation, hopefully we will be able to answer this question as to why we need Azure Security Center. So starting off with one of the first features that Security Center provides us, it is a centralized policy management feature. So basically, Azure Security Center with Security Center, we can ensure compliance with certain company security requirements. So we can see if our resources on Azure are compliant with our requirements, with our security requirements, whether we are able to manage certain security policies, how do we implement certain security policies and restrictions on our resources, and make our cloud workloads much more efficient. Let's actually have a look at it on the portal. So let me show you how to get here. So this is basically the Azure portal that you see when you log in, and then we just go in and search for Security Center, and this is the one here. So Security Center helps us manage security across our Azure as well as non-Azure resources. Just a point I want to make. So this is how it looks. This is the dashboard, and like you can see, there are many features here. There are many different features which we are going to dive into one by one. I'm going to explain to you all what exactly they do and how we can use it going forward. But first, to start off, let's go with the centralized policy management thing that I told you about. So this section that you see here, the policy and compliance section, this section provides us quick information about your subscription coverage. Basically, which subscription has what kind of security coverage. So if you see this tile over here, it shows me the total number of subscriptions that I have access to, and the kind of coverage that I'm getting for each and every subscription. So basically, there are three types of coverages here. The standard coverage is the maximum level of services or maximum level of protection offered by Security Center. The free one is these are subscriptions which are running under limited or free level of protection offered by Security Center, and the ones that are not covered at all. So if I just click onto this tile, I get into the coverage window, which has three tabs. This lists down the subscriptions that I'm having and what kind of a coverage does each subscription fall under. So on clicking on one of these subscriptions gets me into more details of the subscription, where then I can see the owners of the subscriptions. I can contact them to probably enable Security Center or maybe increase the subscription level for a particular resource or something like that. So that's what this policy compliance gives me an overview of this kind of an information. The policy compliance tile over here. This is basically a score that you get and which tells us how compliant your resources are in a particular subscription. This is something similar to what we have in Office 365 as well, wherein we can see a security score for our tenant. So it's something similar that Microsoft is trying to do in Azure here, wherein these are basically the compliance factor for all the policies that are assigned to all the resources. So this overall compliance score that you're seeing here, this is the compliance score for all my subscriptions. And basically how it works is, now suppose if I have in one particular subscription, say I'm having 2 virtual machines, and I have initiated 5 policies and I've assigned those 5 policies to both these virtual machines. So in total I have 10 assessments, right? So I have 10 assessments to do on both these virtual machines. Now say that if one of my virtual machine is not compliant with 2 of those policies, then my overall compliance score for that particular subscription will become 80%. That's how it basically calculates the compliance. And well, our compliance is pretty bad over here, as you can see, but I've kept that purposely just to show you guys how it looks. And if we dive into it a little bit further, we can see a hierarchical structure of all the resource groups under each and every subscriptions that we have here, and the total compliance level for each and for all the policies that we assign to all these resources, and what is the overall compliance for that particular subscription is what we can see. And we can also see the coverage provided for each and every subscription over here. Under this particular subscriptions itself, we can also set the security policies for each and every subscription. Excuse me. As you see, these are the security policies for this particular subscription, wherein there are recommendations which we will talk about later on. But you can set up security policies for each and every subscription under this tab itself. This is the security policies tab. So as you can see, you are having each and every subscription, and then you can set up the security policies over here. Oh, my bad. Then moving on to the next slide, I guess. And this is about, so continuous security assessment. So the resources that we have on our Azure portal, or even on non-Azure resources, this particular section, the resource security hygiene section, basically it provides me a quick view of my resources security hygiene. Basically it displays the number of issues that are identified and the security state of each resource type. So continuous assessment, what it means is basically it helps me discover the potential security issues, such as systems with missing security updates, or network ports which are exposed, something like that, and I can continuously assess those security issues and work better about it. So now if you see the health monitoring tab over here, this health monitoring tab lists down 4 resource types. Like you can see, the 4 resource types are compute and application, networking, data and storage, and identity and access. So let me just select compute and apps and dive into it a little bit to show you what it is. So there are 4 tabs over here, for the 4 further tabs over here, but you can see an overview of all the security issues that my subscriptions or all my subscriptions are having, and Security Center automatically recommends certain things and it identifies those security issues. Like for example, it's showing me that 5 of my computers are unprotected, so there is no endpoint protection enabled on these on 12 of my VMs and computers. There's no endpoint protection enabled on them. There is disk encryption which is missing on 13 virtual machines over here. There is one unhealthy firewall rule on my web application over here. So this gives me a quick overview of the security issues that my resources are facing. The VM and computer tab basically lists down computers as well as virtual machines on my subscriptions, and it shows me if any of them are having any issues, which I can then dive into and look for further problems that it is facing. So it gives, and then it also gives me certain security recommendations over here. So like this particular virtual machine requires a disk encryption and endpoint protection, which has to be enabled on this particular machine. It's giving me a recommendation right there. Cloud services, this tab basically, I don't have anything up here, but then it lists all your web and your worker roles, which are monitored by Security Center, would be listed down here. And the app services tab, which is a feature which is still under preview, this would eventually be listing all your web applications and your app service environments, and also their current security state would be listed down over here under this particular tab. So even in this recommendation tab over here, like we can see, there are total 12 recommendations that it's providing me, with 8 of them are high severity and 4 of them with medium severity. To 30 total unhealthy resources is what it is showing me over here. So Security Center identifies these kind of unhealthy resources on your subscription, and it recommends you changes that you need to do. So actionable recommendation is what is the next slide that we are having over here, which Security Center provides. This is what I'm trying to show here. Basically, Security Center analyzes the security state of your Azure and your non-Azure resources, and it identifies potential security vulnerabilities. And selecting these recommendations also gives me a list of prioritized security recommendations, and it even guides me through the process of addressing these recommendations. So like we said, we identified earlier that 12 of my virtual machines require endpoint protection, and the severity of it is pretty high. So if I click on this, so Security Center will guide me through. So these are all my VMs which require endpoint protection to be installed on them. So Security Center will guide me through enabling these this particular security feature on all the machines, and I just have to click on install on 12 VMs, and it will go ahead and do it for me, and that would help me improve my security health, basically, of my entire subscription. The other thing is about that I would like to show is the most prevalent recommendation that Security Center provides here. This is a list of the most prevalent recommendations that exist for the largest number of resources. So the most prevalent recommendations, these are basically, they highlight where you should focus on. So basically, if I just click here, this also shows the highest impact recommendation. Now this is basically the single most impactful recommendation that you have in your environment. What it means is resolving this particular recommendation would improve your compliance the most. So in this example, we are seeing that endpoint protection is not installed, and that is the most prevalent, highest impactful recommendation that I need to implement, and that would improve my compliance a lot. So this is what these are the first two things that Security Center provides us, is policies, security policies which we can implement, and compliance, and we can check how many of the policies are enabled on what resources and how many resources are compliant with those. And also it provides us with recommendations for us to improve our security health. Moving on, the next feature that Security Center provides us is threat protection. Now, Security Center uses advanced analytics and global threat intelligence to detect any incoming attacks and any post-breach activities as well. And then it alerts us. So these alerts are prioritized and grouped into incidents, helping us focus on the most critical threats first. And we can also create custom security alerts as needed. Let me just show you those. That's right here. So we have seen the policy and compliance section. We saw the resource security hygiene section. And we move to the threat protection section. So in this, security alerts. Now, good for me, I have not had any security breaches right till now, no attacks, so I don't have any alerts over here. But you can expect to have a list of all the security alerts that are detected by the security center to be listed here, and how severe they were, and what problems did they create, and how to resolve those particular errors or those attacks would be listed down over here. And you can also have a graphical view of those alerts over here. You can also create custom alerts. Now that's a feature that's still in preview, but pretty soon we should be getting that feature wherein we can create these kind of custom alerts and enable them for all our resources. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the next feature that Security Center provides, and this is really cool, is just-in-time VM access. Just-in-time VM access is basically, this is to reduce any network attacks that occur on our virtual machines. So we can provide control. So basically, we can control access to the management ports on our Azure VMs, thereby drastically reducing the exposure to any brute force or other network related attacks on our virtual machines. So I have enabled just in time for this particular virtual machine. You can request access. Let me just show you the ports that require an access. So basically, we can specify certain rules of how users can connect to this particular virtual machine. So when needed, we can grant them access, and the access can be requested by the user through the security center or through PowerShell. But as long as the request that the user is doing complies with these rules, access will be granted to that particular user to access that resource. So for example, over here 3389, this is the port for RDP. So we can set this port, we can set the protocol that we want to be enabled on this. We can set the IP address range that we want, who can access this particular VM, and we can set how much time do we want to provide access to that particular user into that VM. So this is a pretty cool feature that Security Center provides us with, is just-in-time access, wherein we can control the access to these particular ports or this particular VM, as a matter of fact, and when we want and for how much time we want and to which user we want to. So that's a really nice and good feature that we have there, just-in-time access. And the next thing is adaptive application controls. Now this basically is used to block any malware and other unwanted applications by applying whitelisting recommendations which are adapted to your Azure workloads, specific to your Azure workload, and this is powered by Azure's machine learning algorithms. So this is the adaptive application control here. There are no recommendations for me currently, but what this is basically is you will get recommendations on whitelisting certain applications, and in order to prevent any malwares to be installed on your machines. So you can review and click and apply any recommended applications, whitelisting certain rules that are generated by Security Center using its machine learning algorithms. And last but not the least, it is to integrate other security solutions. So you can collect, search, and analyze your security data from a variety of sources, including connected partner solutions from with Microsoft, like network firewalls or other Microsoft services like Azure AD Identity Protection, as well in the Security Center. So you can make your Security Center as powerful as you want, and you can customize it as per your liking, and it will surely help you. And if you follow all the recommendations that Security Center is providing, it will surely help you improve the total security health of your cloud, and it helps you be much more secure in your cloud environment. So that is what Security Center is all about, and I hope it gives you a good brief idea. I would really recommend everybody to go ahead and try this out. And of course, you can reach out to us if you need any help in implementing these security policies and compliance policies in the Security Center. And I'm open to any questions and answers if you have any that anybody would like to ask regarding this.
Any questions at all, you can type them in the chat window. Okay, so
yeah,
go ahead,
Nicola, just one last thing. Let me just wrap things up if nobody has any questions. Okay, so yeah, the Security Center basically, just to summarize everything that I just said, it allows us to have a centralized place to manage your security policies. 1. 2, it lets us continuously assess our security health. It provides us with recommendations. 4, it provides us with prioritized alerts. It helps us to focus on the most critical threats and then prioritize our security alerts and prioritize our security health as well. It reduces threats with just-in-time access to management boards, as well as adaptive application controls that are running on VMs, which helps us whitelist certain applications. And of course, it helps us to collaborate with other partner solutions and other security solutions and make it as powerful as we can. So that's the whole picture about Security Center, and it's a fantastic feature that Microsoft Azure is coming up with, and I would recommend everybody to use it. And like I said, you can always reach out to us if you need any further help on these features. Thank you. You can go ahead, Nicola.
Yeah, thanks, Anika. Thanks for the presentation. I would ask all the attendees if you can share your email addresses in the chat window. We will be posting the recording and the deck of our webinars on our website. So if you could share your email address once it is posted on our site, I will send out an email saying that we have posted the recordings, and you can also view all the previous webinar recordings and deck on our site as well. So about our assessment, Azure assessment, it is a Microsoft and a Cloud9 joint investment. This is a consulting service that will be available for your organization, and depending on your organization, it may be free, or you may also use those consulting hours to get a roadmap of to one of the services like Azure Migration, SQL Upgrade, Business Intelligence and Analytics, etc. So if you're interested, please email us at c9sales@cloud9infosystems.com, or you can call us at 855-225-6839. Our website is cloud9infosystems.com, so we have a contact page. You can always get in touch with us through the communication available on the website as well. Our next webinar will be on the July 18th, and I will be sending out communication regarding the topic very soon. We appreciate you joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in our next one. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Anika.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.